My name is Sally, better known as Pius. I can help with surahs, so I can recite.
My name is Suhaila, memorizing surahs, reading the Quran, and practicing the Sunnah.
My name is Mommy, better known as Ummi. Islamic education is key to the family. We tune in every day to learn something new, and Sunnahfollowers is helping us, and it could help you too. Tune in every day for new programming. Stay tuned.
And much more.
Assalamu alaikum. Wake up in the morning, hands and feet get wet. My Lord. Get wet. Get wet. My Lord. Wet, my Lord. Wet, my Lord. Wake up in the morning, hands and feet get wet. Get ready for our conversation, deep and in depth. Obligations are serious and need to be met. So I prepare so I won't forget. Go ahead and make a good intention. Yeah, yeah. You can write up some good things. Yeah, make a donation to the side and go from left to make it right. Just remember and don't lose sight. Jannah is the goal. Jannah is the goal. Jannah is the goal. Hey, I got a couple questions for y'all. The first one, who is your Lord? What is your religion? Who is your prophet? Now, I know this sounds crazy, but if you're one of those people that have been trying to get information and you come across this, or even this, all right, take a listen.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Sister Layla Nashiba, the Managing Director and Founder of Sunnahfollowers Online Islamic University. As you know, we have classes every day beginning at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we cover everything from Aqidah, which is your belief system, to Seerah, which are the stories of the Prophet, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the story of the companions. Please join us every day beginning at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we are broadcasting and streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, DLive, Trovo, and Twitch. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Okay, now they should be able to hear me. Okay, Ina alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam ala wa rasulallah. I want to welcome everybody to our series on on the prayer, how to perform the prayer. And tonight what I'm going to do is speak about congregational prayer. You know, and whenever you hear the term congregational prayer, it's referring to praying at the mosque with the behind the imam. Okay, a lot of Muslims believe that just they can pray with the imam by watching the stream. No, you have to be at the mosque physically with the imam in order to pray with him. Does everybody understand that? You cannot pray on television, watching him on television. You have to physically be at the mosque. And also another point that I want to bring out for the sisters, whenever you read a hadith that speaks about congregational prayer, that hadith is addressing the men, not women. Because Muslim women do not have to pray behind the imam. In fact, a woman, we're going to go over those hadiths today, a woman gets more blessings praying by herself in her bedroom than she does at any masjid behind anyone. So whenever you read a hadith that speaks about the virtues of congregational prayer, it's speaking about men, the virtues or the rewards that men get praying behind the imam at the mosque. And so with that said, let's put the PowerPoint up on the screen. And a lot of your questions will be answered about praying at the mosque, praying in congregation. I'm going to give you all the dalil about the women and her reward and all of that too. So let me I got to fix on the other computer so I can see. Inshallah. Yeah. Inshallah, everybody can see my screen. Let me. Okay. All right. So let's start this off. First of all, what I'm going to do is go over the rewards or the virtues of praying at the mosque behind the imam. And again, all of these virtues and rewards apply to the brothers, not the sisters. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, praying in congregation is superior to a prayer performed individually by 27 degrees. And this is all these hadiths are authentic. That's Bukhari and Muslim. And again, it talks about, this is for a man, not woman. A man, you brothers get more blessings praying behind the imam at the mosque than praying by yourself 27 times. Also, here's the proof that it's about a man and not a woman. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the prayer of a man in congregation is 25 times more rewarding than his prayer in his house or prayer in the marketplace. And this is because he makes the wudu and he makes it the correct way. And then he goes to the mosque with the sole intentions of performing the prayer. For every step that he takes to walk to the mosque, he is raised a degree and one of his sins is erased. And whenever he prays, as long as he does not break his wudus, the angels will keep making supplication for him. They will say, oh Allah, bless him. Oh Allah, have mercy on him. And that man is considered to be in prayer as long as he is waiting for the prayer to begin. And again, this hadith is authentic. So again, you brothers need to think about that. How many of you get up and go to the masjid to make fajr?
How many of you get up and go to the masjid to make Dhuhr, Asr, Isha, Maghrib? You need to. For every step you take to the mosque, whether you're driving in your car or walking, you're getting blessings. You brothers are cheating yourselves out of reward sitting at home. We also have a hadith where a blind man came to the prophet. He said, "O prophet of Allah, I have no one to guide me or show me the way to the mosque." So he asked for permission to pray to pray in his home, and the prophet gave it to him. And when he turned to leave, the prophet said, "Wait a minute, can you hear the adhan when it's being called?" The man said, "Yes." The prophet said, "Then respond to it by coming to the mosque." So you learn from this hadith, and this is authentic as well, that if you can hear the mosque being called, the adhan being called, you brothers need to get to the mosque to pray. If you live that close to the mosque that you can hear the adhan, you should not be praying at home. You need to go to the mosque. Is that clear? I want you brothers to ponder that. You can hear the adhan being called, but instead of you getting up, going to the mosque to pray with the rest of the Muslims, you sitting at home watching a football game. Oh no, that don't work in Islam. You're going to be held accountable for that. Also, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "By he in whose hand is my soul, I thought about ordering a fire to be lit, and then someone to lead the people in prayer, and then to go to the men who don't attend the prayer and burn their houses down." This hadith doesn't mean the prophet was going to go burn people's houses down. He's just talking about the virtues, the seriousness of not going to the mosque to pray. If you can hear the adhan being called, and instead of you responding to it, you're going to sit there and lay in the bed or continue to sleep or eat or whatever. That's how horrific a sin that is. Also, Ibn Masud, may Allah be pleased with him, said, "If anyone would like to meet Allah as a Muslim, then he should persevere in observing the 5 prayers whenever the adhan is made for them, because Allah has chosen for your prophet the way of correct guidance. And the 5 prayers in congregation are part of this guidance. If you were to pray them in your houses as the man who stays at home, then you will be abandoning the sunnah of your prophet. And if you leave the sunnah of your prophet, you will go astray." He said, "I have seen a time when no one stayed away from the prayer at the mosque, except for the hypocrites who were well known for their hypocrisy. A man would be brought, supported by 2 people to come pray due to his weakness." And this hadith is authentic. It's Sahih Muslim. So again, guys, maybe this is why Allah has sent the war now towards us, because we have strayed away. We have strayed away from Islam and its truthfulness with the understanding of those companions. Instead of you brothers going to the mosque to pray, you're sitting at home watching football or too lazy. You rather pray at home, but with your kids, than pray behind the imam and get the reward. Subhanallah, what a twisted nation we are today. Also, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if there are 3 men who live in a town together in the same village or the same city or the same town, and they do not establish prayer amongst them, Shaitan will take control over them. So be with the congregation, since the wolf devours the sheep. And again, how many of us live in cities where there's hundreds of Muslims, but we don't go to the mosque to pray? We're too lazy. Or we rather do like those idiots do every Ramadan. We rather pray in the market, pray in the street, pray at Times Square like those idiot brothers do every Ramadan, thinking that they doing dawah. They're not doing dawah. They're taking you away from dawah. The reward is at the mosque, not in the street. What did that hadith say? The prayer at the mosque is 25 times more superior than the prayer in your house or a prayer in the street. You shouldn't participate in that nonsense, guys. Every Ramadan, we got these innovators who rather do Taraweeh prayer in the street, in the filthy ghetto streets of Times Square, rather than pray it inside the mosque. These are a bunch of lunatic idiots who are cheating themselves out of reward, who think that they're calling you to Allah, but those are examples of people who are calling you to the hellfire. I want y'all to remember these hadiths when Ramadan comes. And these brothers get on YouTube and TikTok talking about how they doing Taraweeh in the street. Don't watch their TikTok videos. Tell them to fear Allah and take their behinds to the mosque. That's the sunnah of the Prophet. And again, like I said, all those hadiths relate to men. For women, it's different. For women, it's better for us to pray in our homes. But your husband should not stop you from going to the mosque. And if you do go to the mosque, you have to adhere to the commands of dress. What does that mean? You have to make sure that your body is covered. You cannot wear a perfume. You don't want to put on clothing to attract the attention of men. That doesn't mean that you can't wear nice colors. That doesn't mean that you can't look nice. What it means is don't go decorating yourself to look like a prostitute because you're looking for a husband. You sisters know what I'm talking about. A lot of y'all get all dialed up and you want to hang out in the lobby hoping that a brother will catch a glimpse of you. You don't go to the mosque for that. Okay? And that's one of the reasons why Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, stopped the women from coming to the mosque. When he saw that the women were decorating themselves and using the mosque as a pickup spot, and the men were sexually assaulting them and making innuendos because of the way they looked. That's why Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, stopped the women from coming to the mosque, which he could do because he was the caliph, which your imam can do. If the imam sees that the women are coming to the mosque with all that perfume on and hanging around with them soft voices and click clacking trying to get attention, he can can y'all from coming to the mosque too. Because the woman's reward is in the home. Where's my dalil? Here's a dalil to all of that. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, do not prevent the women from going to the mosque, although their houses are better for them. He said, do not prevent the slave women of Allah from the mosque of Allah. And they are to go out unperfumed. That means no perfume. Also, the Prophet said, any woman who uses perfume should not be present with us during the night prayer. So if you sisters are going to put on that stinky perfume that y'all be wearing because you want to attract the attention, you ain't getting no reward for your prayers. Instead, you getting sins, and none of your prayers are accepted until you go home and take a complete ghusl. Also, a woman named Humayd As-Sadiyah, she came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and she said, "Oh, Messenger of Allah, I love to pray with you." The Prophet said, "Yes, I know that you do." He said, "But your prayer in your home is better for you than your prayer in the mosque. And your prayer in your people's mosque is better than your prayer in a larger mosque. So here's the clear evidence that a woman gets more reward praying at home. And Allah knows best, because I don't know what you go to the mosque for anyway, because a lot of sisters say, oh, I'm going to the mosque so I can hear the khutbah. You can't hear the khutbah because the women talk. They don't shut up. And you got bad children running around the mosque screaming and hollering. You can't hear nothing that's going on. So it's better to be at home. Your home is better for you. You ain't got to deal with the drama of some woman coming up to you telling you astaghfirullah, you going to hell because you got on fingernail polish. Astaghfirullah, you going to hell because you got on makeup. You got on colors. The mosque has become a place of fitting for women. So I don't even know why you sisters go. You ain't getting no reward. You getting more reward staying home. What about this? It's preferred to pray for you brothers. You brothers get more blessings praying at a mosque that's further away from you and that has a larger congregation. A lot of you brothers use the excuse that the reason why you don't pray at the mosque is because the mosque is too far from your home. Well, look at the blessings you get for driving there. The prophet said the one who gets the greatest reward for prayer is the one who travels the furthest distance. The area around the mosque became vacant, and the tribe of Solomon wanted to move there. When the prophet heard this, he said, I was told that you want to move closer to the mosque. They said, yes, messenger of Allah, we want that. The prophet said, but don't you know that your homes will record your steps to the mosque? In other words, he was telling you get more blessings traveling further to the mosque. So you brothers need to think about that when you say that, oh, you live too far. Well, look at the rewards you get for driving 20 minutes to the mosque. Your car will testify on your behalf. Your car will stand on the day of judgment and say, oh Allah, I'm a witness that he drove me 20 minutes to and 20 minutes from the mosque just so he could go and worship you. You're going to be wishing you had driven that distance. Also, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the prayer of a man with another man is purer than the prayer of a man by himself. Okay, what does that mean? Praying in congregation with someone else, another man, is better than praying by yourself. Your wife doesn't count. Let me emphasize this. Your wife does not count as congregation. Your wife does not count as congregation. The hadith is clear. The prayer of a man with another man. He didn't say of your prayer with your wife. So you brothers got to stop thinking that you praying in congregation with your wife and children. No, you ain't. Get your behind up and go to the mosque and pray with the imam. That's your reward. Okay? And when you go to the mosque, don't go running. Everything we do as Muslims, we do with dignity and humility and balance. So if you're going to walk to the mosque, walk calmly. Don't rush. This is because you are considered to be in prayer as long as you are traveling to get to the prayer. Don't rush with your car. Don't drive through the red lights. Take your time. Abu Qatada says, we were praying with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam when we heard the clamoring of some men. When they had finished praying, the Prophet asked, what was the matter with you guys? They said we were rushing for the prayer. He said, don't do that. When you come to the prayer, come with tranquility and pray what you can with us. And whatever you missed, you complete it when we're done. And we're going to talk about what that means in a minute. How if you come to the mosque to pray and you join during the second rakat, when the imam gives salams to end the prayer, you don't give salams. You stand up and make the rakat that you missed and then gives your salams. Okay? And also, the imam has to be easy on his followers. What does that mean? You don't want to stand there reciting Surah Baqarah. You don't want to stand there reciting long verses of the Quran. The prophet said if one of you leads the people in prayer, he should be easy, because you got people amongst you who are sick. Some are old. Some have business to get to. So don't make the prayer too long for them. When the prophet would hear a baby crying while he was leading the prayer, he would make the prayer short. He wouldn't keep it, make it long. So the imam has to remember that. Everything we do with dignity. And also, if you are the imam leading the people in prayer, you can prolong the first rakat. You can make the first rakat of the prayer long to allow the people who are late to come and join in. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam allowed the latecomers to join the first rakat. If the prayer was began, one could go to relieve himself, make wudu and return, and the Prophet would still be in the first rakat. He did this so that the people that had to make wudu or the late people could join in without missing anything. And when you're praying behind the imam, this is very important. A couple of the imams asked me to emphasize this with you guys, the new shahadas. The imam is to be followed. You do not move until after he has moved. In other words, you do not raise your hands until after the imam has raised his and said, Allahu Akbar. Then you move. You don't move before him. Does everybody understand that? Wait till you hear Allahu Akbar, then you move. Sami Allahu liman hamidan, then you move. Don't move before him. Don't raise your head up from the ground until after you hear the imam say Allahu Akbar. Do not change your positions until after you have heard the imam say Allahu Akbar. And that's something that they wanted me to emphasize with the new shahadas. And finally, before I end tonight, I'm going to answer the question that Brother Ahmed asked. What constitutes a congregation? Two people together, two men, or one man, one woman, one man, one child. That constitutes a congregation. Ibn Abbas says that he stayed with his aunt Maymuna, who was one of the wives of the Prophet. And the Prophet got up to pray during the night. And he got up with him and would stand on his left. Would stand and stood to his left. The Prophet would put him on his right. So the Prophet would pray his voluntary prayers. As you guys know, the voluntary prayers are prayed at home for you brothers. So if you want to pray your voluntary prayers, you can pray them with your wives. You can pray them with your children. But the obligatory prayers should be prayed at the mosque behind the imam. Another proof of that, the Prophet said, whoever gets up during the night wakes up his spouse and they pray 2 rakats together. they will both be recorded among the righteous men and women who remember Allah. So a constitution consists of two people. Whenever there are two people together living in the same town, congregational prayer should be established. If you're praying at home, your voluntary prayers, you should pray them with your wife and kids to teach them the deen. And that's considered a congregation of which you brothers get reward too. But you're not going to get the same reward you get praying with the imam, the obligatory prayers, anywhere but the mosque. We also have this hadith where a man came inside the mosque after the prophet had finished his salat. And when the prophet saw this man come late, the prophet asked the people who had prayed with him, he said, who will pray with this man? So this man will have a congregation and you will get the reward of a voluntary prayer. And then one of the brothers volunteered to pray with him. So that's the dalil, again, that two people constitute a congregation. So those are the proofs that for the men, you get more blessings praying at the mosque. For us women, we get more blessings praying by ourselves at home. But the voluntary prayer should be prayed at home with your wife and your children, because that's the way you teach them how to pray. And you brothers get the reward of congregational prayer, not the same as you do with the imam, but you're getting the reward of praying in congregation with your family, because it's a voluntary prayer. All right, I'm going to stop right here. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Are there any questions or comments? Oh, sister wants to donate. Sister Khadijah, you don't have Cash App or Zelle? You don't. You can donate using Cash App, Zelle, or PayPal. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead with your questions, guys. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Assalamualaikum. Sister Layla, one time Imam was visiting the masjid and he was leading a prayer and he shortened his prayer, and I was kind of confused what to do, but I ended up following what everybody else did. So if he shortened his prayer, like say for example, Dura, he has shortened it to 2 rakats. So when he says salamu alaikum, we stand back up the congregation.
Okay, you normally, you see, you were a woman, so you probably couldn't hear him. But when the imam is to be followed. If he prays sitting, we pray sitting. If he prays standing, we pray standing. But normally, with the imam is traveling, he will shorten his prayer and he'll usually say, you may continue your prayer, and somebody else will step forward and lead the people in the next rakats. That's what normally happens.
Okay.
You know, he will give his salam and tell the brothers to continue, and someone else will step forward and continue. Okay. Okay. Does Chime have Zelle? You can pay using Zelle. If you does Chime have Zelle? Let me Google it. Okay. Yeah, you can send it to me on okay, you have Chime. What do you need? This if you can pay using Chime. They said Chime allows you to send money to anyone. Just this is the email address. Send it to the email address. That's the email address. Yeah, Chime allows you to send money. It says that. It says you can send money to anyone using Chime under Pay Anyone. You have to, I just Googled it. Google it. That's what I just did. It says Chime allows you to send money. It has Pay Anyone feature. This feature allows people to send money to anyone, whether you are on Chime or not. It says tap Pay Anyone at the bottom. Enter the recipient's name, email address, or phone number. Enter the amount and then send it. So that's our just take down my email address. That's our email address, and you click on Pay Anyone. That's supposed to be on your Chime. You can Google it. Google tells you how to do it. Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah, and Chime doesn't, they say they don't charge a fee. That's good. Chime does not charge a fee. So that's good too. It's like Zelle. Okay. Yeah. Anyone, any other questions? Yes, tomorrow we have my 6:30 class. I'm going to talk about shirk. I'm going to continue my discussion on shirk, and I'm going to give you guys a quiz. Also, after that, we have Brother Mohammed Ziada. He's going to be speaking about how to be different in a world where everyone is trying to fit in. And then later on tomorrow night, we have my Quran class on the Meqasidic Tafsir. Yes. Yeah. Did you find it, Khadijah? Does it ask for my, did you see it, Khadijah? Yeah, just put the email address, or here's a phone number too. If it's asking for my phone number, put that phone number and my name, Layla Nashiba, and my phone number. If it's asking, but you got if you can use the email address, that would be better for me because that goes directly into our account. And you click on where it says Pay Anyone. It should be on your Chime account. It says Pay Anyone. And they don't charge a fee, which is good. Mm-hmm. All right, guys, I'm going to log out for tonight. Inshallah, be here tomorrow at 6:30. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum, everybody.